So our next question, or our next company is SayaMobile. We've got Robert Lamptey and Badu Bohim.
Hello, TechCrunch. My name is Robert, and that's my partner, Badu. We're really excited to be at TechCrunch Disrupt today, all the way from Ghana in Africa. Thank you. Since we got here, we've been hearing interesting twists about the smartphone debates that have been going on about iPhones and Androids. We think smartphones are really cool. But guys, not everyone in the world has a smartphone. Actually, there are 5.4 billion non-smartphones on the earth right now. Bedu and I had a problem. We didn't have smartphones. And that meant that we couldn't install all the cool applications that were out there. And anytime we wanted to communicate, we were stuck with SMS. Remember SMS before the smartphone era? It wasn't intuitive, it wasn't threaded, it was ugly. That was what we were stuck with, right? And we come from an emerging market where mobile subscriptions are pay as you go. That means that the more messages we send, the more expensive it got. People actually spend about 5% of their monthly income on just messaging, not to even talk about mobile phone calls. That's outrageous. So being engineers, we decided to solve that problem. Can we switch to the phones? So we built an application that worked for the kind of phones that we had. The non-smartphone that had access to the internet. Can we switch? Yes. So we decided to make SMS more beautiful and sexy. So we built an application that is cutting the cost of SMS for billions of people in the world by up to 1,000 times. With our application, users are able to send threaded and more beautiful messages than what SMS has to offer right now. So I'm about to send Bedu a message from a prototype iPhone product we built to show you how SMS looks like. It's not projecting so well, but all of a sudden we are putting a beautiful application in the hands of people that do not have smartphones. Not only are we beautifying SMS and cutting the cost of SMS, we are actually making SMS more social by allowing them to create groups and send to the groups and don't have to pay 5 times, 10 times, depending on the number of people in the group. Not only that, we bring location to non-smartphones, to phones that don't have GPS with our Street Chat feature. With Street Chat, we are able to group people together in the same location, even though they may not have GPS, to start a conversation. Let's move to the slides. That's way cooler than what we were stuck with. We decided to just push this app out for a couple of friends to use and send 2,000 SMS invitations. And boom, crazy things started happening. Before we knew, within 2 months, our beta app had 400,000 downloads. And these 400,000 downloads had generated 9 million SMS invitations, 9 million people to join the app. Thank you. Now, looking at this, right, it's amazing. Next slide. You see, we started wondering what were these guys discussing? And people were talking about road networks in Kenya. People were discussing issues everywhere. And the crazy part was, I was having lunch one day, Bedu rushed to me and goes like, dude, there's Arabic floating through our system. I'm like, oh snap, did we break code? We went into our system and discovered that lots of traffic were coming from Syria. That was way amazing, really cool stuff for us. Saya is solving a problem that people are facing. And it's not just a messaging app, it's actually a business. We make money through ads. I know people here are skeptical about ads, but where we are from, we have no access to information. And ads are the way we get information. So yeah, we like ads. We've seen insane click-through rates for ads on our platform. Now, think about it. 5.4 billion people have leapfrogged the PC age into a mobile era. They need application, and that's where Saya comes in. We are solving the SMS problem now. But think about it. Saya could become the Yelp for these guys, the iTunes, where we can sell multimedia for these guys, for shopping, etc., etc. We really are in love with the application right now, and the possibilities are endless. We are here for the next couple of weeks fundraising to bring this cool app to billions of people out there. We would love to meet over coffee. But TechCrunch, I want to leave on this note that communication is a universal need. Sometimes people just want to send a message to a friend. They just want to get social. They just want to meet new people. And I think that we can do that cheaply, even though these guys do not have access to smartphones. Thank you.
Well, that was great. What happens when they all do get smartphones? And you know, there's a lag, but it might be 4 or 5 years. In 4 or 5 years, they'll all have smartphones. Because 4 or 5 years ago, they didn't even have the cell phones.
Okay, that's an interesting question we keep getting. And to mitigate that, right, so we built the application to be cross-platform. So we have a BlackBerry build, an Android build, and an iOS build. And looking at the growth, actually, there's so many people who don't even have phones that access the internet. And these guys are moving to the next level where they have access to internet. And those that already have internet enabled are moving to smartphones. And we feel as a platform, if you're taking care of them way down there, they grow with you along the way. Yep.
So one of the apps that I built at Google was Google Voice. And so, you know, we built that also with the premonition that lots of people aren't using smartphones. There's lots of people outside the US that are on, you know, sort of normal mobile phones. What do you guys, so the pattern recognition for me is kicking off here that like people want to chat and people don't want to pay these outrageous rates that carriers charge. What are you guys going to do to sort of get the 9 million sort of invites backlog sort of met?
So that's the more reason why we are here to fundraise, because the statistics we got from a beta was like insane. 50%, we sent 2,000 SMS invite, and 50% responded and downloaded the app, right? It's growing out of proportion. And so one way we do it is to send SMS invitations with a download link to each of the users' phone contacts, and then they get to download it and have it installed.
Can you use this from your web, from an internet cafe, or from a bunch of other things?
Yeah, so there's actually, we have a Chrome extension. We love Google. We have a Chrome extension that we want to push out within a month. So we in the target market where we are, most people have access to PCs when they go to the office and then move on to their mobile devices. So we feel that the phone contact should follow them to their PCs as well. And so once we launch the Chrome app, that should take care of that.
What's the single sort of challenge that you have right now in sort of, you know, scaling and getting the demand that you have?
I think we need more money and more talent.
Yeah. Well, traction cures all ills.
As you look at that trend to smartphones, and you've got applications like Goji, Pinger, or WhatsApp, I mean, how do you compete? What's different from some of the services versus what those guys are offering?
You want to answer that?
Okay, so that's one of the questions that we've been getting, especially compared to WhatsApp, which is almost like what we do. But for us, especially compared to WhatsApp, we are trying to support the lowest phones that could access internet. So for instance, phones like Techno phones, I don't know if it's popular here. They sold like 9 million last year in Nigeria. And WhatsApp doesn't work on it, but our application works on it. So we are trying to bring those people who have phones that are able to access internet, just internet, to be able to enjoy the message.
To add to that, right, this smartphone app market in the US and in Europe, it's like crazy. Lots of guys are fighting for a small space. And so I think that it would do them well to concentrate on keeping their market share here and let us build our stuff and they can acquire us later.
Yeah. For instance, I don't think WhatsApp focuses on feature phones. I think they are more focused on.
Or are you thinking about kind of novel ways on the economics of SMS that you can kind of optimize around, though? to help actually with these users in other markets that want to minimize their costs? I mean, is there an opportunity to do that?
I don't think I really got your question, but if I understand, are you asking about whether people are excited about Saya because of the cost?
Well, as you provide that layer,
Yeah.
is there an opportunity for you to, let's say, buy up messages from some of these carriers, and you
yeah.
can be a mediation between those two?
Yes, yes.
Arbitrage.
It's something that we've been in discussion with a couple of people about, and we feel that even though we are building this for feature phones, right, there are some phones that are still not able to access this. And so being able to purchase huge volumes of SMS to help them out move, that helps.
How did you get to Disrupt from Ghana? and is there an angel investor out there in Ghana?
Okay, so Ingrid interviewed us. Mike Butcher came down to Accra and saw what was happening at the meltwater. Yeah. I hope you recovered from shopping. So he came to Accra and then met us, and we had angel funding from the Meltwater Foundation, which has its headquarters in San Fran. Yep.
All right.
It's impressive what you built on $70,000.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Great. Saya.